Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I love this movie. This was the best animated movie of any superhero movie. What I like is because in some animated movies that parody superhero movies, they parodied the idea, they use like, in the comic books, there's those yellow boxes. In some superhero parody movies, they do that. Here, they actually have it, because the the guys who created this wanted to do something that feels like a comic book. And usually with CGI superhero movies like The Incredibles and Megamind, they never get to do that kind of animation where they make animated like a hand-drawn look that comes from a comic book. I love that. I love that it's about interdimensional Spider-Man. It's like, I thought, oh, okay, so this is about Miles Morales Spider-Man, but Peter Parker is in it, and spoiler alert, he dies. Well, not exactly dies, like this Earth version of him dies, and then the Peter Parker comes from a different, older, retired looking Peter Parker comes, and now a shape version comes from a parallel dimension, and we get to see Spider-Man Noir and Spidey, the robot one, Spider, Penny Parker, Peter Parker, Spider-Ham, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Gwen. Yeah, they're both awesome. My only problem is that I just wish we got to see more of Noir and and Peter Parker and Penny Parker more. Like but don't worry, they're not shoehorned in. Like they actually have a purpose and they're actually connected to the story. What I like, cause don't worry, Miles Morales, that his Spider-Man suit, the Miles Morales Spider-Man suit, it's in the movie. But but here's the best part. You know how Venom and Amazing Spider-Man 2, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, like near to the credits, it always shows a part in the trailer that you don't think is gonna be at the very end of the movie, but turns out it is. Like, remember in the trailer for Venom, there's the scene where he grabs the guy at the convenience store. He's like, "You being harmless pancreas thing like a turd in the wind," but it was and that's the scene you think is gonna be in the middle of the movie, but it's actually at the end of the but it's actually at near to the end credits of the movie. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where the Rhino, where in the trailer's like, oh, the Rhino's gonna be in there, but he's at like the very end of the movie, like near to the credits. Don't worry, they introduced the Spider because I was worried they're gonna do that, but with the Miles Morales Spider-Man suit, but don't worry, they actually show it at the beginning of the final climax, not at like to the very end of the credits, like the final climax where they fight the villain. And the villain, Kingpin's the main villain. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just want to tell you, I have like little spider gloves. I have all the Spider-Man. I have a jacket, a little toque or a snow hat, a little mask, headphones. Oh, there was a scene where Miles Morales was wearing headphones and it said Sony on it. Yeah, but don't worry, it's just one Sony product. Like I think there was a PlayStation console make a cameo. Also, the producers, the people who made this movie, because if you look up their work, they also made a show called Clone High, and I think a picture of it made a one of the characters made a cameo. Well, not exactly one of the characters, like a little picture from the show of one of the characters made a cameo on the advertisement billboards, like on the buildings. And that's cool. Also, stay till the end credits, cause 2099 Spider-Man is in the movie, but he's at the very end of the movie, and it's really funny. And I won't reveal any more. Sorry if part of that's a spoiler, but I was really glad he was basically kind of in the movie. But yeah, so yeah, it was a really fun movie. I liked it. What I liked about it is that because before this movie came out, let's see now. I think no, it's this one. Hang on. See, this is Simpsons Super Spectacular, and I'm not just a big fan of Spider-Man, I'm also a big fan of the Simpsons Bartman. And in this comic, it's kind of like the story in here where it's other Barts meeting from other parallel universes. So yeah, I'm actually a big fan of that kind of idea where the superhero meets different selves, like his own self, but like different variations of him, not like an evil version in some stories, which are fine. But I kind of like stories where they try to be it's them, but in a different reimagining of them. Kind of like what this movie did. So yeah, I don't know what else is there to say. Like I remember in 2010, I saw there was this video game called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, which was Spider-Man meeting other Spider-Man in parallel universes. And they kind of did that in the 90s TV show where the Spider-Man cartoon did a where the Spider-Man cartoon where the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, the 90s Spider-Man cartoon meet other hymns from parallel universes, except this involves Madam Web. But no Madam Web, just a machine. But that's still cool. If they ever do another Spider-Man movie like this, probably they should introduce Madam Web. But yeah, I'm actually a big fan of the Spider-Verse storyline, and when I heard that this was going to be its story, I was really excited because, as like all of you, I got a bit worried because when I heard, oh, Sony's making an animated Spider-Man movie, give me a break. Uh, but sorry, but when it's a Spider-Man, but seeing how this is about us, but when I heard it's about Miles Morales, sorry. When I heard it was about Miles Morales, I was like, okay, this sounds interesting because there was a lot of Peter Parker stories. This might be interesting. And then when I saw what they're going to do with it, it was about the Spider-Verse and having a comic book-like art style. This was really amazing, and this is very different from any animated Spider-Man, for any animated superhero movies to any other superhero movies. And what I really liked about it is that it was Spider-Man. Because anyone could have made up their own story, but they chose Spider-Man. And the Spider-Verse is a very new idea to do, because Peter gets to retire, sort of, but he's still Spider-Man in his dimension, but he's teaching this Miles Morales a new Spider-Man. It's very cool. Also, I have a little Miles Morales Spider-Man action figure. So remember, the suit does make an appearance, but at like the final climax, not like near to the end credits. But stay till the credits because there's like a homage to Stan Lee where he says a quote, and it's like, we'll remember you, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, because they're the creators, and I really love that. Well, that's my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I hope you enjoyed it just like I did, and Excelsior!